If you have been wanting to start a business, but you have no money to start the business, this is for you. Going to my YouTube channel to watch this full video would be one of the best decisions you can make in life. One of the biggest lies ever sold to you is that you need money or capital to start any business. Before I even dive further, let us define what a business is. I'll make it very simple and uncomplicated, such that even someone in primary school would easily understand. Business simply means solving a problem, usually with the intention of making a profit. It is just as simple as I have just said. Any other definition someone tells you or you hear from anyone is just to make it sound more complicated than it is. The saying that you need money to start a business is the single biggest misconception keeping aspiring business creators from ever starting. So in this video, I'll tell you how to start a business without any capital, no savings, no investors, no rich uncle or auntie, just nothing. I'll also tell you what businesses you can start with zero capital. Just make sure you stay dialed in until the very end of this video. Most people don't fail to start a business because they lack money. They fail because they've been trained to believe that they need money first. We've been conditioned mentally to believe that business is a transaction, money in, product out. But at its core, business is not about money, it's about solving a problem. So if there is an existing problem which you can solve right now, just as you are watching this video, you don't need capital and you already have a business. You need to add creativity to that solution which you already have and trade your time instead of your wallet. The problem is that from the moment we were young, we were taught a sequence. Go to school, get a degree, get a job, save money, then maybe someday start a business. And because of that conditioning, millions of people spend years waiting for the perfect time, waiting until they have enough savings, waiting until they know the right people, waiting until they have investors, waiting until they feel confident. Before you roll your eyes and say, here we go, another one of those motivational things, just stick with me because I'm not even here to motivate you. I'm here to expose something. I'm here to tell you that almost everything you've been told about what it takes to start a business is a lie. A comfortable, well-packaged, widely accepted lie. And those lies, they are keeping you broke, stuck, and unemployed by someone else's dream. So let's get into it. Today, I want to break down exactly how you can start a business with zero capital. Not motivational fantasy, not fake guru nonsense, not manifestation. Real strategies, real examples, real businesses. And more importantly, I want to destroy some of the biggest lies we've been told about entrepreneurship. Because once you remove those mental barriers, you realize something powerful. A lack of money is often not the real problem. A lack of resourcefulness is. Before you can build a business with zero capital, you need to unlearn most things you have learned in the past on starting a business. You have to do away with the misconceptions about business, which have kept you stuck for a long time. The first misconception in starting a business is that you need money to make money. This is probably the most repeated business quote in history. Now, say it back to yourself. You need money to make money. Sounds logical, right? It rolls off your tongue. Your parents said it. The whole culture said it. You hear it in films. You read it in books. And because everybody said it, you believed it. But let me ask you something. Where did that idea actually come from? It came from a world that no longer exists. It came from a world that existed before the internet, before social media, before you could reach 1 billion people from the comfort of your bedroom, before skills could be monetized in a weekend, before a teenager could build a software product and charge thousands of subscribers around the world. That world is gone. And yet, we are still carrying around its old rule book like it applies to us today. It is just like people who still study courses which are no longer relevant in the present and will remain irrelevant even in the future. I'm not saying that money or capital does not help drive a business, yet it does at some point. But at the beginning, money is overrated. In fact, having too much money clearly can make people lazy. Because when people have capital, they often try to buy solutions instead of developing skills. They run ads before they understand customers. They build websites nobody needs. They rent offices before making revenue. Meanwhile, someone with zero capital is forced to become creative, and creativity is one of the most profitable business skills in existence. I've made these mistakes myself in the past. This is why I don't want you to make the same mistake. Here's the truth that no one wants to talk about. What you need to start a business is not capital. What you need to start a business is value. And value can come from your ability to solve a problem. It can come from your ability to serve a need. It can come from your ability to deliver a result. That is it. The most beautiful part is that value doesn't cost a penny to develop. The internet has created an era where attention is more valuable than capital. Ideas move faster than money, skills can be monetized instantly, and businesses can be built from a phone, a laptop, or even just consistency. Look at Airbnb. The founders couldn't afford rent. They literally rented air mattresses in their apartment during a conference in San Francisco. That tiny idea eventually became a multi-billion-dollar company. They didn't begin with huge capital. They began with a problem. That's how many great businesses start, by solving problems. The second misconception in starting a business is that you need a unique idea. This is another lie that has been sold to you. You do not need a unique idea. All you need is execution. Execution just means you take that plan or idea you have in your head and make it happen in real world. Achieving business execution comes down to two core steps, which are 1, to make the goal dead simple, and 2, to break the goal into tiny steps. If your zero capital business idea is to become a content creator, you make it dead simple by starting in a niche you are most comfortable with, and you break the goal into tiny steps by creating short content consistently. People obsess over finding some revolutionary or novel business idea nobody has ever seen before, but most successful businesses are simply improvements. Uber didn't invent taxis. Netflix didn't invent entertainment. Apple didn't invent smartphones. They improved convenience. They improved branding. They improved user experience. The world rewards execution far more than originality. The third misconception in starting a business is that you need to quit your job immediately. This is another dangerous lie. Social media glorifies the dramatic moment. Oh, I quit my job and chased my dreams. But most successful entrepreneurs started while working. They built quietly, at night, on weekends, during lunch breaks. Starting small is not a weakness, it's a strategy. The fourth misconception in starting a business is that you need investors. Most people seeking investors don't actually need investors. They need customers. Investors only amplify something that already works. If nobody wants your product for free, investment money would not magically fix that. The first goal of a zero capital business is simple. Solve a problem, get paid, repeat, and that is it. Now, the next thing we'll talk about is why this is the best time in history to start a business. Honestly speaking, there has never been a better time in human history, in human existence, to start a business with no money. And most people don't fully realize how insane this moment is. Right now, you can create content for free, market yourself for free, build communities for free, learn high income skills for free, reach millions of people from the comfort of your bedroom. 20 years ago, starting a business often required inventory, a storefront, employees, advertising budgets, equipment. Today, one person with a smartphone can outperform companies with massive budgets. A teenager can build an audience on TikTok. A freelancer can find clients on LinkedIn. A coach can teach through Zoom. A designer can sell digital products globally. The barrier is no longer access. The barrier is consistency. Most people don't fail because they can't start. They fail because they stop too early. The pathway to success and failure is the same, just that most of us quit too early. And let's be honest, a lot of people secretly want entrepreneurship to remain difficult. Because if business no longer requires huge money, elite connections, or fancy degrees, then excuses disappear. That's uncomfortable. Now, let's talk about businesses you can start with zero capital. We are living in a time when it is inconceivable to say you are broke. We are living in a time when saying you have no job sounds illogical and even illegal. There has never been any time in human existence that the bar of entrance into business has been this low. This is because the sole purpose of every business is to make sales. And you can make sales from anywhere in the confines of your room to anyone in any part of the world. The question now is, what businesses can someone start actually with zero capital? And I don't mean fake become a millionaire overnight business. I mean real businesses. The first one I'll talk about is content repurposing agency. This is one of the most underrated businesses right now. Thousands of podcasters, coaches, and creators have long-form content, but they don't have the time to turn it into short clips. If you can edit videos using free software like CapCut, you can start reaching out to creators immediately. You don't even need experience. You can create sample edits using existing public content. One client can turn into recurring monthly income. And the crazy part, many creators hate editing. I hate editing, and I am sure there are many content creators out there who do not like editing just like me. You are solving a painful problem. The second business you can start with zero capital is ghostwriting for LinkedIn or X. A lot of business owners know their industry, but they cannot write consistently. That's where ghostwriters come in. If you can write clearly and communicate your ideas effectively, you can help professionals build their online presence. And no, you don't need to be a world-class writer. You just need to understand attention. Some ghostwriters today make thousands every month simply helping founders sound intelligent online. The third business you can start with zero capital is digital product business. This is one of the greatest zero capital business models ever created. Why? Because you create something once and sell it infinitely. Examples of things you can create once and sell them infinitely are Notion templates, fitness plans, study guides, Canva templates, budget planners, AI prompts, resume templates. A student can create a study template. A gym enthusiast can create a workout plan. A teacher can create educational PDFs. Knowledge has become monetizable. The fourth business you can start with zero capital is a local service arbitrage. This business model is fascinating. You find clients first, then outsource the work. For example, a local restaurant needs social media help. You close the client, then you hire a freelancer online to do the actual work. Your profit comes from the difference. You become the connector, and businesses desperately need connectors. The fifth business you can start with zero capital is AI automation services. Most small businesses are confused by AI. That confusion is an opportunity. If you learn how to use tools like ChatGPT, automation software, and simple AI workflows, you can help businesses save time. You don't need to become a programmer. You simply need to know more than the average business owner. And right now, the bar is surprisingly low. The sixth is community-based businesses. This one is massively underestimated. People crave belonging. You can start a private accountability group, a niche Discord community, a study community, a fitness accountability group, a mastermind. Communities become businesses when people receive value consistently. And many of the biggest companies in the world are really just communities with products attached. The seventh one is micro consulting. People think consulting requires decades of expertise. That's not true. If you know slightly more than someone else in a valuable area, you can help them. A college student can help older professionals with social media. A gamer can teach streaming setup. A bilingual person can help businesses with translation. The market rewards usefulness, not perfection. The eighth business you can start with zero capital is a service-first concierge business. This is one of the easiest businesses you can start with zero capital. It is one of the easiest because on most occasions, you provide the service first before your customer pays. So your customer are less worried when it comes to trust because you deliver your services first before they pay you. Think of things people hate doing: cleaning gutters, organizing digital files, washing cars, video editing, setting up smart home devices for the elderly. These require zero in inventory. They only require you to show up and be reliable. There are a few secrets you need to know to start a zero capital business. I call this the currency you need to start a business with zero capital. Here's the truth most people eventually realize. The real currency in modern business is not money. There are 5 real currencies you need in modern business, and all have absolutely nothing to do with money. These currencies are: 1. Skill, 2. Attention, 3. Trust, 4. Problem solving, and 5. Consistency. Let's assume you are broke and you want to start a service-first business with zero capital. Let's say a home or mobile car wash business. The first currency you must have is skill in washing cars. Without the skill, you are only setting yourself up to fail in your business because no one will allow you to touch their cars again after your first attempt. Your ability to wash cars must exceed your customers' expectations, such that they will never consider taking their cars to a car wash, washing their cars themselves, and they're happy for you to come back the next month as a repeat customer. I'm more than happy to recommend you to their friends or neighbors. The second currency you must have is attention. You must market yourself both physically and digitally. You have to knock on gates repeatedly and show yourself continuously on social media platforms. People pay you first with their attention before they pay you with their money. If you cannot get their attention, you can never get their money. The third currency you must have is trust. When you start knocking on gates, be rest assured that the first set of responses you will get are rejections. This is because they do not know you. For all they care, you could be an imposter posing as a mobile or home car washer. When they turn you down, you don't just go off. You must leave with 4 impressions. The first impression you must leave with is physical. Give them something they can research about you on. A flyer or a note containing at least your basic information: name, address, phone number, and social media handles. This shows them proof that you are really who you say you are. The second impression you must leave is your information. Tell them that you will knock back again next week to see if they would need your services. However, if they need you before then, they can reach you through any means in the flyer or note you've given them. This sets anticipation and expectation. They would have time to process if they would consider giving you an opportunity if you show up again. And guess what? The next time you show up, they will no longer see you as a stranger. The third impression you must live with is their information. At the very least, ask them their full name and put it down on a paper. This indicates real interest. It tells them that beyond your desire to provide a service for them, you are truly interested in forming a relationship with them. The next time you show up, address them by the first name. Depending on cultural surroundings, add a title to it. It could be Mr., it could be Mrs., it could be Sir, it could be Ma. The fourth impression you must leave is an offer. Depending on how your conversation goes with them, give them an offer that will be so difficult for them to turn down. Tell them that as a kind gesture, your first car wash service to them would be free. They will most likely accept your offer. And when they give you that opportunity, you just have one job to do. You must wash their cars in such a way that they can never think of any other way to wash their cars aside using your services. Congratulations, you have a business. There is another impression that you have to leave. However, it is not a number 5. It is dependent on whether number 4 happens and the outcome of number 4. If they accept your free offer, the next impression you must leave with is a feedback and a referral. After washing their cars, ask for a feedback. If the feedback is genuinely positive, ask them for a referral to their friends, to their colleagues, and neighbors. If you sense that their feedback is not genuinely positive, do not ask for a referral. As a bonus, always ask when next they will want their cars to be washed. Every repeat customer that you have is an ultimate and undeniable proof that you are absolutely doing something right. Don't stop. The fourth currency you must have is solving problem. I have already emphasized this all day long, one way or the other. You have just one job, and this is to solve their problem, which is washing their cars. The fifth currency you must have is consistency. This is where most people mess up their businesses. You work so hard to acquire clients and customers, then end up compromising on the value and standards of your service which you provide. In this context, providing a valuable home or mobile car washing service is not just about washing cars perfectly. It is also about always washing the cars specifically on the agreed date and the time without any compromise. Should you no longer be able to provide this service on your own, you must ensure that you properly train your staff to replicate the services exactly as you do or even better than you do. These are the 5 real currencies you require in modern business. Money simply amplifies these currencies which I have just mentioned. And if you don't develop these qualities first, having capital won't save you. A person with £10,000 and no discipline can lose everything. A disciplined person with no money can eventually build almost anything. That's why some immigrants arrive with nothing and create massive businesses. They develop resilience over time. They develop adaptability. They develop sense of urgency. Meanwhile, many people with advantages never start because they are trapped waiting for certainty. But entrepreneurship has never been about certainty. It's about movement. You can never achieve anything I have said so far without having the right mindset. You do not see life the way it is. You see life the way you are. Here is the secret. If you start with no money, you must start with obsession. You have to be the one who researches, the one who code emails, the one who learns to design the flyer on Canva, and the one who closes the first sale. When you spend your own money, you are often just playing business. You buy business cards, you set up a website, you pay for ads. That's consumption. When you have zero capital, you are forced into creation. You have to talk to people, you have to understand them, you have to be so good that they want to pay you. Every single money you earn from that first sale is a victory, and it is the only funding you should ever need to grow. You won't be the first person to start a business with zero capital. A lot of people have done it in the past. Damon John from Shark Tank started his clothing brand Fubu with $40 and in his mother's dining table. Howard Schultz, the man who built Starbucks into a global empire, grew up in a public housing in Brooklyn. He had no connections in the coffee industries. He educated himself. He built relationships. He was relentless. He started with very little. He ended up changing the way the world sees coffee. So if you have been waiting for permission to start, this is it. You do not need perfect conditions. You do not need rich parents. You do not need investors. You do not need a fancy office. You need value. You need consistency. You need courage. And most importantly, you need to stop believing the lie that business is only for people with money. Because in today's world, the person who learns fastest, adapts fastest, and executes consistently often wins. Not the person who starts with the most cash. And maybe the biggest risk today isn't starting without money. Maybe the biggest risk is spending your entire life waiting until you finally have enough. The real reason most people don't start, it's not money, it's not time, it's not even knowledge, it's fear. Fear of failure, fear of what people will think, fear of starting something and not finishing it, fear of putting yourself out there and being ignored, or worse, being rejected. And we use "I don't have money" as a socially acceptable way to say I'm scared. Because no one can argue with "I don't have money." It's a clean, defensible excuse. It shuts the conversation down. And most importantly, it protects us from having to try. But here's the question I want to leave with you. What is saying safe actually costing you? Because the alternative to the risk of trying is the certainty of staying exactly where you are. And for most people, where they are is not where they want to be. Being broke, the job they tolerate, the salary that barely stretches, the dream they have filed away under someday. Someday is not a day of the week. J.K. Rowling was a single mother on welfare when she wrote Harry Potter. She was rejected by 12 publishers before the 13th said yes. She had no money. She just had a story to tell and a library to write it in. She started anyway. You don't need permission. You don't need money. You don't need the perfect idea or the perfect plan or the perfect moment. You just need to start. Start imperfectly, start messily, start nervously, start humbly, but you need to start. I hope this makes you better today more than you were yesterday. Thanks for listening.